Okay, so let's start our Unit 4 Day 2 notes, writing equations of lines given slope and a point. So last time we were given a graph like this. It said, what information do we need to write the equation of the graph? We're using a slope-intercept form, so we need m and the b. The m is our slope, and the b is our y-intercept. So where it crosses the y-axis. Last class it wasn't too bad because this number, where it hit the y-axis, was a whole number. That was -1. And we found the slope by using rise over run. So I would go down 1, which is -1, right 2, finding two crosshairs here. Right is a positive move, so our slope was -1/2. But what happens if where the line crosses through the y-axis isn't a whole number? Something changes here. We cannot just estimate it. We have to find it algebraically. So, for example, this line does not cross through at a perfect crosshair like 2 or 3. It's between 2 and 3. So let's begin. It says find the slope. Start by writing your equation. So our slope here is up 1, right 2. So our slope is 1/2 x. Pick a point on the graph and plug in for x and y. So I know that my m is 1/2. I know I have an ordered pair of -1, 2, which is x, y. If I plug those pieces in, here I have a y, I have an m, I have an x, and I'm looking for b. So let's see what that looks like. If I plug in for y, y is 2. I plug in for m is 1/2. I plug in for my x is -1. I don't know b, so I'll put plus b. Now I can go ahead and simplify solving this equation for b. So first I'm going to do this multiplication. So I need to do 1/2 times -1. Remember, in your calculator, you can do this by hand by just multiplying the numerators, or you can go in your calculator and use this n over d button. Gives you this fraction. You type in 1, arrow down 2, arrow to the right, times -1. Your negative sign to the bottom. Enter -1/2. All right, now I have b alone, or I have b on this side. I need to get b alone, so I'm going to move this -1/2. It's negative, so I will add 1/2. Cancel, so I have b equals 2 plus 1/2 is 2.5, but let's represent that as a fraction here. So 2 plus 1/2, 5/2. What is 5 divided by 2? 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, so that's right. Well, does that look like it's 2.5? Up 1, up 2.5. Yeah, it does. So I can finish writing my equation, plus 5/2. Sometimes this will come out as a fraction, sometimes it will come out as a whole number. Let's try some more. So I have my slope, I have my m, my x, and my y. So I have the slope and a point that the line crosses through, just like I did here. I found my slope, and I had a point that the line crosses through, or a point on the line. So let's plug in for y equals mx plus b, what we've been using. So y is 4, and we're finding b. So this is our m, which is -2. our x, -1, plus our b. So 4 equals, combine these, -2 times -1 is +2. To get b alone, I need to move the 2 to the other side. It's positive, so I will subtract. So b equals 4 minus 2 is 2. Now I'm not done. I have to write my whole equation. Y equals -2 x plus our b, which is 2. All right, next one. If you want to start out by writing y equals -2/3 x, and then leave yourself a blank here, you still need to fill in with something right there so you don't forget at the end. That'd be a good idea. So here's our m, x, y. So I have y, -5, equals m, -2/3 times x, 6, plus b. We're just plugging in for each of these letters. Y and x are representing an ordered pair. This m is representing our slope, so how steep is that line? So I have -5 equals -2/3. I could just do -2 times 6 and get -12, or I can plug it into my calculator. -2/3 times 6, -4. Plus b. Now to get b alone, I need to move this 4. It's negative, so I will add it to both sides. -5 plus 4 is -1. So my y-intercept is -1. And there's my equation of that line. So let's take a look at this one. This time we have a graph. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to find your slope. The first way is we can put these ordered pairs in a table and think back to the beginning of last unit. Actually, unit 2, where we found the slope on the table. We said what happened from 3 to -1? Well, we're going down and we're decreasing by 4. So remember, slope is rise over run, which means what's happening to our y's over what's happening to our x's. Change in y. So what changed from 3 to -1? We subtracted 4. So that would be on the top. Continuing in the same direction on my table, what happened from -2 to 3? Well, there, I added 5. So +5 would be on the bottom. So my slope should be -4/5. We can double check that on our graph. So rise, we went down 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. We went right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -4 over +5. Same fraction. So my m is -4/5. And let's pick one of the ordered pairs. It truly does not matter which one, so I will go ahead and pick -2, 3. That's my x and my y. I know in the end my equation is going to be y equals -4/5 x, and then I will have something here. My y-intercept will go there. Let's plug in what we know. So my y is 3. M and x are mushed together, that's showing multiplication. So my m is -4/5. My x is -2. And let's multiply. So -4/5 times -2. (8/5) plus b. We now want to subtract, subtract 8/5 because it's positive. It's okay to leave it as a fraction. I encourage you to. Since this is a fraction, let's be comfortable with that. So I'm going to do 3 minus 8/5. So 3 minus, using this n over d button, 8, arrow down, 5. 7/5. So that means my y-intercept is 7/5. So I'm gonna, it's positive, so plus 7 over 5. Okay, another one here. So we can use our slope finding, find our slope using a table again if we want. -4, 3, 2, 1. Working down the table from 3 to 1. That's -2. If I want to double check, I can type into my calculator. 3 minus 2, yes, that gives me 1. So -2 would be on the top. And then -4 to 2. -4 to 2 is adding. How many am I adding? 6. If I type in -4 plus 6, it does get me to 2. And can we reduce this fraction? Let's check it out in our calculator. If I type in n over d, -2 over 6, it reduces to -1/3. So my m is -1/3. Well, if I go from this point to this point, that is down 1, right 3. So yeah, that works. Picking one ordered pair, I'm going to pick -4, 3. So I'm going to begin to write my equation. Y equals mx plus b, so -1/3 x. And I need my b. We have to find where this line is crossing. So it's more than 1 but less than 2. So I have y is 3, m -1/3, x -4 plus b. So 3 equals, let's combine these. -1/3 times -4 is +4/3 plus b. Now to get b alone, I need to get the 4/3 to the other side. I'll do so by subtracting. So 3 minus 4/3. 5 over 3. So that's saying my y-intercept is 5/3. Let's make sure that makes sense. What is 5 divided by 3? 5 divided by 3 is 1.6 repeating. Now we don't ever want to put a repeating fraction or decimal like that, so it's good that we left it as a fraction. 1.6, that's more than 1, and it's a little bit over halfway, but still less than 2. And that is what our picture looks like. Let's take a look at one more like this. This one is a little funky. Let's look at these ordered pairs in the table. So this ordered pair is -7, 0, and this ordered pair is 9, -4. Now I'm doing change in y on top, change in x on the bottom, rise over run. So what happened from 0 to -4? I'm going from 0, I'm going to negative, so that's subtracting 4. -7 to 9, that's adding a number. How many are we adding? Well, if I'm going from negatives to positives, here's a trick. I can just add these numbers and I get 16. Well, let's see if that's true. Is this adding 16? So let's type in negative 7 plus 16. Hopefully we get the 9. And we do. So 16 would be on the bottom of my fraction. Can I reduce? Yes, negative 1/4. You can also divide the top and bottom by 4 to get there by hand. Now let's look here. This table, or this coordinate plane is going by 2's in every interval, so it might have been a little bit tricky if we were just to count this one. So we would be going down to this, down to here, which is actually down 4, and then we'd be going all the way over here, which how many is that? That's 9 here, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is 16. So let's begin writing our equation. Y equals negative 1/4 x. And we need a number here. It better be negative because we're below the x-axis, so it should be minus a number. It looks like it's very close to negative 2, but it doesn't quite look like it's right on negative 2, so let's check it out. So m is negative 1/4. My ordered pair, I can choose either one. Since negative 7 has a 0 in the ordered pair, sometimes it's a little bit easier to have a 0. That's x, y. Our y is 0. M is negative 1/4. X, negative 7. And we don't know b yet. We're solving for b. So I have 0 equals negative 1/4 times negative 7 is positive 7/4 plus b. I'm going to subtract 7/4. So b equals negative 7/4. What is negative 7 divided by 4? Well, it's negative 1.75. So that's close to negative 2, but not exactly negative 2. And that makes sense. Let's try a couple of challenge ones. I believe we have just 2 more here. So this time, I'm not giving you a picture, but really it's the same steps as we've been doing. Write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. So first we have to find the slope. We can do so by creating that table like we've been doing. So 2, 3, and 5, 1. From 3 to 1, I'm decreasing by 2. From 2 to 5, I'm increasing by 3. So my slope is change in y over change in x. So negative 2 over 3. That's my m. So negative 2/3 is our slope. Next, we're going to find the y-intercept, which is b. And then we're going to write the equation. So let's begin it, since we know our slope is negative 2/3. Our x always goes with our slope. And now we need to find our b. We don't know if it's going to be positive or negative yet. Let's check it out. So y equals mx plus b. Which ordered pair do we want to use? Okay, we want to use the ordered pair. Well, you get to pick which one you want to use. It does not really matter. I'll go ahead and just use the first one. So my y is 3. My m, my slope, is negative 2/3. And my x is 2. Multiplying, negative 2/3 times 2. Plug it into your calculator. Negative 2 over 3 times 2. And you get negative 4/3. Plus b. In order to get our b or y-intercept alone, we have to move the negative 4/3. I'll do so by adding 4/3. cancel. 3 plus 4/3. 13/3. So that is our y-intercept, so plus 13/3, 13/3. What is 13/3? So 13 divided by 3 is 4.3. Last one. So same thing here. We have two ordered pairs. The line crosses through those ordered pairs. We want to find the slope. So change in y over change in x is our slope. Okay, so we have the ordered pairs 2, 3, and 5, 3. What happens from 3 to 3? There's no change there, plus 0. So that would go on the top. From 2 to 5, that is plus 3, 3 on the bottom. Remember back to unit 2, if 0 is on top, 0 divided by 3, 0 divided by anything is 0. So our slope is 0. Does that make sense? M is 0. Well, let's look. If I were to like kind of sketch this, 2, 3, right 2, up 3, and 5, 3 would be here, and then I connect those two dots, those 2 points, it's a horizontal line. Person's walking on their treadmill, there is no incline, no slant. So it is a 0 slope. So I could look at this picture right now and write my equation, or I could kind of follow these same steps. So find the y-intercept now. So y equals mx plus b. I'll use this first order pair again. Y is 3. My m is 0. 0 times my x, which is 2, plus b. So 3 equals 0 times 2 is 0, plus b. 0 is 0. I don't need to do anything with that, so b is 3. Writing my equation, y equals 0x plus my b, which is 3, but I don't need the 0x. So it's just y equals 3. And we did practice that on that vertical line, or horizontal line. It hits the y-axis at 3. Every single ordered pair on this line, the y value is 3. So there's our equation.